Welcome, my friends. Imagine waking up every day feeling overwhelmed, stressed, and constantly behind. Your to-do list never ends. Problems keep piling up. And no matter how hard you work, it feels like life is running you instead of the other way around. Now, imagine a life where everything runs smoothly, effortlessly, predictably, and efficiently, where your work, your health, your relationships, and even your money follow systems that almost run themselves, giving you back your most valuable resource, time and peace of mind. This is not a dream. This is exactly what Sam Carpenter teaches in Build the System. He reveals how small, smart systems can transform chaos into control, making you more effective, more focused, and more free. By the end of this audiobook, you'll understand how to stop firefighting, eliminate constant stress, and finally take control of your life, step by step, system by system. Are you ready to stop spinning your wheels and start building systems that actually work for you? Let's dive in. The chaos of life and business. Most of us live our lives in a constant state of firefighting. Every day feels like a rush. You wake up with a list of things to do, but unexpected problems keep showing up. An urgent email, a financial issue, a health concern, or a sudden crisis at work. Instead of calmly following a plan, you spend your energy reacting to whatever comes your way. By the end of the day, you are exhausted, but you still feel like you achieved very little. Sam Carpenter, the author of Build the System, lived in this exact chaos for years. His business was falling apart, he was drowning in stress, and he barely had time for himself. Every day felt like survival. He describes this period of his life as living in a storm, always running but never moving forward. But then something changed. Sam realized that the problem was not him, not the people around him, and not even the circumstances. The real problem was that he had no systems in place. His business, his daily routine, his health, everything was random, unorganized, and dependent on luck. When he finally started to think differently, he discovered something powerful. Life is not meant to be managed through chaos. Life is meant to run on systems. Just like a car engine or a computer program, when you create clear and reliable systems, things begin to work smoothly on their own. Stress reduces, productivity increases, and freedom becomes possible. This book begins with that realization, that the chaos you are experiencing is not permanent. It is simply the result of weak or missing systems. Once you start building systems for your work, your relationships, your health, and your money, you can move from being a firefighter to becoming a designer of your life. Mindset shift, from worker to systems thinker. One of the biggest turning points in life comes when you stop looking at your tasks as random, disconnected events and start seeing them as part of a system. Most people act like workers on a never-ending treadmill. They wake up, handle whatever comes in front of them, and go to sleep tired, only to repeat the same routine the next day. It feels like survival, not progress. Sam Carpenter explains that the real freedom begins when you shift your mindset. Instead of asking, "How do I finish this task quickly?" you begin asking, "How can I build a system that handles this task automatically, smoothly, and with less effort every time?" Think about it. When you make your morning coffee, you don't reinvent the process every day. You have a small system. Fill water, add coffee, press the button. The same logic can be applied to your work, your health, and even your personal life. Systems bring order to the chaos. When you become a systems thinker, you stop being a victim of circumstances. You start designing your environment so that good results happen naturally. Instead of relying on memory, luck, or willpower, you create clear steps that can be repeated without stress. This shift is not about working harder. It's about working smarter. A worker spends energy fighting problems again and again. A systems thinker invests time once to create a solution that prevents the problem from coming back. That's the difference between being busy and being truly effective. Sam's story teaches us that if you want a life of peace and productivity, you must move from being just a worker to becoming a systems builder. That simple change in perspective can completely transform the way you live and work. Your life is a collection of systems. If you step back and look at your life, you'll notice something important. Everything you do is part of a system. Your health, relationships, money, and career, They don't just happen randomly. Each of them works like a machine with inputs, processes, and outputs. Take your health as an example. The inputs are your food, your sleep, and your exercise. The process is how your body digests, repairs, and generates energy. The output is your fitness level, your mood, and your overall well-being. If you improve the inputs, better food, proper rest, regular workouts, the output automatically improves. You don't need to force results. The system delivers them. The same is true for relationships. The input is the time, attention, and kindness you invest. The process is the way you communicate and handle conflicts. The output is the quality of your connection, whether it's trust, love, or distance. If you feed the relationship with care and honesty, the output will naturally be stronger bonds. Think about money too. The input is how you earn and save. The process is how you manage and invest. And the output is financial stability or stress. By fixing the process, budgeting, automating savings, making smart choices, the output changes without constant worry. And of course, your career is also a system. Learning, skill building, and networking are the inputs. Consistent effort and strategic work are the processes. The output is growth, recognition, and opportunities. Sam Carpenter's message is simple. Stop blaming luck or circumstances for your results. If something in your life isn't working, it means the system behind it is weak or broken. Fix the system, and the results will take care of themselves. Clarity through documentation. One of the biggest sources of stress in life is uncertainty. When things are only in your head, half-formed thoughts, vague plans, or scattered ideas, you constantly feel pressure. You wake up thinking, what should I do first, or did I forget something important? This mental clutter creates confusion and anxiety. Sam Carpenter discovered that the easiest way to reduce this stress is to write things down. When you document your thoughts, plans, and processes, you give them a clear shape. What was once a cloud of confusion in your head becomes something solid and structured on paper or in a file. Think of it this way. Your brain is great for creating ideas, but it's not designed for storing long checklists or remembering every detail. That's why we forget appointments, miss deadlines, or repeat mistakes. But once you write things down, you free your mind from carrying all that weight. You create a system outside your head. In business, this is even more powerful. Imagine telling an employee what to do, but giving different instructions each time. The result will always be inconsistency. But if you create a clear written procedure, step by step, anyone can follow it, and the outcome will always be the same. Documentation becomes your silent assistant, working for you even when you're not around. The same applies in daily life. A shopping list saves you from forgetting essentials. A morning routine written down ensures you start the day smoothly. Even something simple like documenting your monthly budget reduces stress because the process is clear. Documentation doesn't mean extra work, it means less confusion. It turns chaos into order and randomness into consistency. With clarity on paper, your mind becomes lighter, calmer, and more focused on what truly matters. Breaking free from firefighting. Have you ever felt like you spend your entire day just putting out fires? One problem shows up, you fix it. Then another problem comes, and you rush to handle that too. By the end of the day, you feel drained, but nothing meaningful has moved forward. This is what Sam Carpenter calls firefighting mode. A life where you are always reacting, never truly creating. Chaos exists when there are no systems. Without systems, every situation feels urgent and unpredictable. Emails pile up. Tasks are forgotten, mistakes are repeated, and small issues suddenly turn into big crises. Living like this not only kills productivity, but also steals your peace of mind. The good news is that chaos is not permanent. It is simply a signal that a system is missing. For example, if you constantly forget to pay bills on time, the problem isn't you being lazy, it's the absence of a bill payment system. If your work team is always confused, it's not that they're careless, it's that there's no clear process to guide them. When you start systemizing, you shift from being reactive to being proactive. Instead of waiting for problems to happen, you design processes that prevent those problems in the first place. For example, setting up automatic payments means you'll never miss a bill again. Creating a step-by-step workflow for your team means tasks get done right the first time without confusion. The moment you break free from firefighting, your energy changes. Instead of running in circles, you finally have the space to focus on growth, creativity, and the things that truly matter. You stop feeling like life is controlling you, and you start feeling like you are in control of life. Sam's lesson is simple. Don't just fight fires. Build systems so that the fires never start. Working on the system, not just in it. Most people spend their entire lives working inside the system. They wake up, handle tasks, finish their to-do list, and then repeat the same cycle the next day. It feels like they are working hard, but deep down, they're stuck in survival mode. They are busy but not truly moving forward. Sam Carpenter explains the difference between two approaches: working in the system versus working on the system. When you work in the system, you're focused only on today's tasks, answering emails, fixing small problems, or completing urgent work. It gives you the feeling of being productive, but tomorrow the same problems will return, and you'll have to fight them all over again. When you work on the system, you step back and ask, how can I design this process so that tomorrow it runs more smoothly, with less effort and fewer mistakes? Instead of only doing the task, you improve the way the task gets done. Imagine a restaurant owner. If she spends all day cooking and serving, she's working in the system. But if she takes time to train staff, create standard recipes, and set up processes for orders and supplies, she's working on the system. Over time, her restaurant will run smoothly even without her constant presence. The same applies to personal life. If you always struggle to remember your schedule, you'll keep missing things. But if you spend a little time setting up a calendar system with reminders, you no longer depend on memory. The system handles it for you. This is the true difference between being busy and being effective. Busy people are trapped inside their systems, repeating the same cycle. Effective people step outside, improve the system itself, and then enjoy better results with less effort. Sam's advice is clear. Don't just keep running inside the machine. Become the mechanic who tunes and upgrades the machine. That's how you create freedom, efficiency, and lasting success. The power of small fixes. When people think about improving their life or business, they often imagine that it requires a big, dramatic change, a complete makeover, a bold move, or a total restart. But Sam Carpenter reminds us that most of the time, that's not true. Systems don't need to be torn apart to become effective. Often what they need are small, thoughtful fixes, made consistently over time. Think of a leaking tap. The entire plumbing system doesn't need to be replaced. Sometimes all it takes is tightening a small part. That tiny fix stops the constant drip and saves gallons of water. In the same way, small improvements in a system can stop wasted energy, time, and resources. For example, if you spend 10 extra minutes every morning searching for misplaced items, you don't need to redesign your whole routine. A simple fix, like keeping a bowl near the door for your keys and wallet, eliminates that stress forever. It's such a small change, but the impact compounds every single day. In business, this principle is even more powerful. Imagine a customer service team that spends hours answering the same basic question again and again. Instead of hiring more staff, the company could add a clear FAQ page on their website. A small fix, but it saves hours of work and increases customer satisfaction. The beauty of small fixes is that they build momentum. Each little improvement makes life smoother, gives you back some energy, and inspires you to find the next fix. Over time, these improvements compound into massive efficiency. What once felt chaotic and heavy becomes light and manageable. You don't need to wait for a perfect moment to make a big change. Start small. Start today. Fix one little thing in your system, and then another and another. Soon you'll look back and realize how far you've come. Not because of one giant leap, but because of many small, smart steps. Separating systems, not everything is one mess. When life feels overwhelming, it often seems like everything is falling apart at once. Money problems, work pressure, health issues, relationship struggles. It feels like one giant tangled mess with no clear starting point. But Sam Carpenter explains that this is just an illusion. Life is not one big problem. It's a collection of separate systems. Think of your life as a house made up of different rooms. There's a room for your finances, a room for your health, another for your relationships, and one for your work or business. If one room is messy, it doesn't mean the whole house is broken. You can go into that room, clean it up, and then move to the next. In business, the same principle applies. A company is not one giant machine. It's a group of smaller machines working together. There's the system for communication, the system for customer service, the system for marketing, the system for finance. If something isn't working, you don't have to burn the whole business down. You just need to identify the broken subsystem and fix it. For example, maybe your business is losing customers. Instead of panicking and thinking everything is collapsing, you might discover that the customer support system is weak. Fixing that one system can restore trust and improve the whole company's performance. In personal life, if your health is poor, it doesn't mean your relationships or career are automatically doomed. You simply need to focus on the health system. Better diet, better sleep, regular exercise. Once you strengthen that system, the other areas of your life naturally benefit too. This approach brings a powerful sense of relief. Instead of feeling trapped in a storm where everything is wrong, you realize that each challenge has its own system behind it. You can fix them one at a time, step by step, and then integrate them together. Slowly, the chaos fades, and order begins to appear. Sam's advice is clear. Stop looking at your life or business as one big, unsolvable problem. Break it down into systems, repair them individually, and then connect them. That's how real transformation happens. Documented procedures, your silent employees. One of the most powerful discoveries Sam Carpenter made is that written procedures are like invisible employees. Once you take the time to write down how something should be done, that document quietly does the job of training, guiding, and reminding, without needing your constant energy. Think about it. If you have to explain the same task again and again to someone, you waste time and mental energy each time. But if you have a clear, written, step-by-step guide, the instructions stay the same. Anyone can follow them, and the result will be consistent. That document works 24/7, even when you are not around. In business, this is life-changing. For example, if you run a cafe and have a documented procedure for making a cappuccino, exact measurement of coffee, milk, temperature, and serving style, then every employee can make the drink the same way. Customers get the same taste every time, no matter who is on shift. The procedure becomes your silent employee, ensuring quality without you hovering over every step. The same principle applies to daily life. Imagine you often forget how to pay an online bill. Instead of relearning it every month, you could write down the exact steps once. Next time, you just follow the written guide. It saves stress and avoids mistakes. Documented procedures also bring peace of mind. They free your brain from holding every detail in memory. You don't need to carry all the steps in your head because the document carries them for you. That's why Sam calls them your silent employees. They quietly take on the mental burden and give you clarity and consistency. The lesson is simple. Don't rely on memory. Don't repeat yourself endlessly. And don't waste energy solving the same problem again and again. Write it down once and let the procedure work for you. Like an employee that never gets tired, never forgets, and never argues. Measurable results over guesswork. One of the biggest problems in both life and business is that most people rely on guesswork. They hope something will work, but they don't actually measure the results. This creates endless frustration. You may feel busy, but without measurement, you can't tell if your efforts are truly effective. Sam Carpenter explains that when you build systems, you also create opportunities for measurement. Systems produce patterns and data that can be tracked. And once you start measuring, you no longer depend on hope. You start working with clarity. Think about fitness. If you only feel like you're eating healthy but you don't track your weight, calories, or exercise, you might not notice whether you're really making progress. But if you start measuring, stepping on the scale weekly, tracking workouts, and monitoring nutrition, you'll know exactly what's working and what's not. You move from wishful thinking to real awareness. In business, this principle is even more critical. Imagine running a marketing campaign. Without measurement, you might think it's successful just because it looks nice. But with systems in place, tracking clicks, conversions, and sales, you can clearly see whether the campaign is effective. If it fails, you know where to adjust. If it succeeds, you can repeat it. The same applies to personal finance. Many people feel like they're saving money, but until they measure income, expenses, and savings consistently, they're living in guesswork. A simple budgeting system turns that uncertainty into hard numbers. The beauty of measurement is that it removes emotion and guesswork from decision-making. You don't have to rely on hope, fear, or memory. The numbers tell you the truth. And once you have the truth, you can make better choices, optimize your systems, and create predictable results. Sam's message is clear. Stop guessing, start measuring. What gets measured can be improved, and what gets improved creates real progress. Eliminating human error. No matter how smart, careful, or hardworking we are as human beings, we all make mistakes. We forget things, we get emotional, we lose focus, or we simply overlook small details. That's natural. But when life or business depends only on memory, emotions, or chance, errors become unavoidable. And these errors often lead to frustration, wasted time, and sometimes even big losses. Sam Carpenter explains that the purpose of a strong system is to reduce this dependency on human weakness. A system acts like a safety net. Instead of relying on memory, you rely on documented steps. Instead of depending on mood, you depend on a clear process. Instead of leaving things to chance, you create predictable routines that guide your actions. Think about flying an airplane. Pilots are highly trained, yet before every flight they follow a written checklist, step by step. Why? Because memory and confidence alone are not enough when lives are at stake. The checklist eliminates human error and guarantees safety and consistency. Now, apply this to daily life. Suppose you often forget to take your medicine. Depending on memory will fail you again and again. But if you set a reminder alarm on your phone or use a pill organizer, you've built a small system that removes the chance of error. Suddenly, the task is done every day without stress. In business, the same principle saves time and money. For example, if an employee handles customer orders differently each time, mistakes will happen. But with a clear, documented process, step 1, step 2, step 3, the system ensures every order is processed the same way, with fewer errors and happier customers. The lesson here is powerful. You don't need to be perfect. You just need strong systems. Systems make up for human forgetfulness, emotions, and distractions. They create consistency and reliability, so that the right result happens every time, no matter who is doing the task. Sam's advice is simple. Trust systems, not memory. Build processes that work even when you're tired, stressed, or distracted. That's how you eliminate human error and build long-term success. Time liberation, creating space for what matters. Most people feel trapped in their daily routines, answering emails, handling calls, solving the same problems again and again. These small but endless tasks eat up hours of life, leaving little energy for the things that actually matter, like creativity, growth, relationships, or even rest. This is where systems become a blessing. When you create a strong system, the routine work runs on autopilot. Instead of constantly firefighting, you get back your most precious resource, time. And time is not just about hours on the clock. It's the freedom to think, to plan, to dream, and to live with intention. Imagine a business owner who spends every day manually tracking expenses, sending reminders, and organizing files. They feel busy all the time, but progress is slow. Now, if the same person builds systems, like automated payments, accounting software, or documented workflows, the routine runs without constant attention. Suddenly, hours are freed up. Instead of drowning in small tasks, they can focus on new ideas, bigger goals, or simply enjoying life. This is what Sam Carpenter calls time liberation. Systems don't just make you efficient, they buy you back your life. When you're no longer stuck in repetitive work, your mind becomes free for creativity, problem-solving, and growth. You can finally work on your future instead of just surviving your present. The beauty of this is that time liberation also creates space for personal priorities. It means having dinner with your family without stress. It means reading a book you love, learning a new skill, or simply sitting quietly without guilt. In short, when systems handle the routine, You get to handle what truly matters. The message is clear. Don't live as a slave to tasks. Build systems that serve you. Once the basics run smoothly, you'll have the freedom to live a life of purpose, not just pressure.
Life as a machine. Inputs and outputs. Think of life and business as a machine. Every machine works in a simple way. Whatever you put in becomes the result that comes out. If the input is poor, the output will also be poor. But if the input is high quality, the output automatically improves. This principle is true for every system in life. For example, imagine a coffee machine. If you put in cheap beans and dirty water, you cannot expect a delicious cup of coffee. But if you use fresh beans and clean water, the machine will give you a rich and satisfying drink, without you needing to interfere. The same thing happens with the systems in our work and personal life. If you give your system careless effort, unclear strategies, or low-quality materials, the result will always disappoint you. But when you feed your system with good planning, smart tools, consistent effort, and attention to detail, the results become smoother, better, and more reliable, almost automatically. In business, this might mean training your employees well, using clear communication, and setting up efficient processes. When these inputs are strong, customer satisfaction, profits, and growth naturally follow. In personal life, it could mean taking care of your health by eating right, exercising regularly, and sleeping well. These good inputs will lead to more energy, focus, and happiness in your daily life. The real lesson is simple. Don't fight with the results. Improve the inputs. If you want better health, better business, or better relationships, ask yourself, what am I feeding into this system? Because the machine of life never lies. It always gives back what you put in.
The system mindset at work. Many businesses don't fail because the owner is lazy or unwilling to work hard. In fact, most entrepreneurs work harder than anyone else. They sacrifice sleep, put in long hours, and push themselves every single day. Yet, despite this effort, the business still struggles or collapses. Why? The reason is not effort. It's weak systems. Hard work without systems is like running on a treadmill. You may sweat a lot, you may feel exhausted, but at the end of the day, you're still in the same place. On the other hand, when you build strong systems, your effort multiplies. Each action gives you predictable and repeatable results. Systems turn chaos into clarity. Think about a restaurant. If the chef is personally cooking everything, taking orders, and serving food, the business will break down the moment the chef gets tired or sick. But if the restaurant has systems, clear recipes, trained staff, a smooth order-taking process, and regular supply management, the restaurant can run smoothly even if the chef is not there. That's the power of systems. They don't depend only on people, they depend on structure. A system mindset means asking not, how much harder can I work? But instead, how can I design this so it works without me? When you shift from effort to systems, your business becomes stable, scalable, and stress-free. Success stops being an accident and starts becoming predictable. In simple words, strong systems create freedom, stability, and growth. Weak systems create stress, confusion, and failure. The choice is always in your hands. Personal systems for daily life. Systems are not just for businesses, they can transform our personal lives too. Every day we face hundreds of small decisions: what to eat, how to spend money, how to manage time, how to balance relationships. Without systems, these choices create stress and inconsistency. But when you apply system thinking, life becomes smoother, calmer, and more predictable. Take health, for example. Instead of asking yourself every day, what should I eat today? You can design a simple meal plan. Maybe you decide breakfast is always oats and fruits, lunch is light and home-cooked, dinner is early and balanced. You don't have to rethink it daily. The system guides you. Add a workout routine at a fixed time and your health runs on autopilot. Now think about relationships. Many people lose connection with loved ones because they wait for free time that never comes. But if you create small rituals, like calling your parents every Sunday evening, having dinner with your partner without phones, or setting aside 10 minutes daily to listen to your child, you are building systems for love and connection. Relationships grow stronger not by accident but by design, and then comes money. Most people spend first and save later, which often leads to financial stress. But a simple system can change this. Automate your savings so that a percentage of your income goes directly into a savings or investment account. This way you don't rely on willpower. The system protects your future. When you apply systems in these three areas, health, relationships, and money, you remove daily stress and create stability. Instead of reacting to life, you begin to design it. Small, consistent systems lead to big results over time. In short, a system-driven personal life gives you peace of mind, balance, and the freedom to focus on what truly matters. Scaling through systems. Growth is something everyone dreams of, whether it's in business, career, or personal life. But here's the truth. You can't grow simply by working harder or putting in more hours. At some point, effort reaches its limit. There are only 24 hours in a day, and only so much energy one person can give. Real growth, or scaling, happens only when you build systems that can work even when you're not there. Think about a small business owner who does everything alone: marketing, sales, customer service, accounting. They may survive, but they can never truly grow because their time is the bottleneck. Now imagine the same business with clear systems: automated invoicing, structured customer service, marketing tools running in the background, and staff trained to follow processes. Suddenly, the business doesn't depend on the owner's presence. It can serve more customers, generate more revenue, and expand without collapsing. The same applies in personal life. For example, if you want to stay fit, you can't rely only on bursts of motivation. But if you create a system, meal prepping on weekends, workout alarms on your phone, or exercising with a group, your health keeps improving even on days when motivation is low. That's scaling your fitness. Scaling through systems means shifting from do it all yourself to build a structure that does it for you. It's like planting a tree. In the beginning, you water it daily, but once its roots are strong, it grows on its own, giving fruits and shade for years. When your systems are strong, growth becomes natural. You stop chasing progress with sweat and stress, and instead, progress flows automatically. That's the real power of scaling through systems. Maintenance. Systems need care. Creating a system is not the final step. Just like buying a car doesn't guarantee smooth rides forever, building a system doesn't guarantee success forever. Every system, no matter how perfect it seems at the beginning, needs regular care, updates, and improvements. If you ignore it, slowly it becomes outdated, starts failing, and eventually throws you back into the same chaos you were trying to escape. Think of your phone or laptop. When you bought it, it worked fast and smooth. But over time, if you never update the software or clear the storage, it slows down, hangs, and frustrates you. The device itself is not the problem. The lack of maintenance is. The same truth applies to systems in business, career, or personal life. For example, let's say you create a budgeting system to manage your money. At first, it works beautifully. But if your income grows, your expenses change, or new financial goals come up, that old system might no longer fit your life. If you don't review and adjust it, you'll find yourself overspending, confused, and stressed again. The secret is simple. Treat systems like living organisms. They need checkups. They need tuning. They need to evolve with time. A business system, for example, might need new tools, better training for employees, or improved technology. A personal system, like your morning routine, might need to be refreshed as your lifestyle changes. The beauty is, maintenance doesn't take as much effort as building from scratch. A small review once a week or a monthly update can keep your systems sharp and reliable. But neglecting them for too long means you'll end up where you started, disorganized, overwhelmed, and firefighting problems. In short, systems save you from chaos, but only if you save them from neglect. Care for your systems, and they will keep caring for you. Freedom through systems. Many people misunderstand systems. They think creating systems means being rigid, restricted, or trapped by rules. But Sam Carpenter's biggest lesson is the exact opposite. Systems are not chains. They are wings. They don't limit you. They free you. When life or work runs on strong systems, you stop being a slave to chaos, distractions, and endless emergencies. Instead, you gain clarity, control, and the freedom to focus on what truly matters. Think about a musician who practices scales every day. At first, it feels repetitive, maybe even boring. But those scales are the system that allows them to improvise beautifully, play complex compositions, and express creativity effortlessly. The structure doesn't stifle them, it enables them. Life and business work the same way. Systems are the foundation that supports freedom, not restriction. When you build systems, small things that once drained your energy, like remembering tasks, fixing repeated problems, or managing unpredictable situations, start taking care of themselves. You no longer live reactively, you live proactively. Every decision, every process, and every action becomes smoother, more consistent, and more reliable. The real beauty is in the long-term benefits. Systems don't just save time and energy, they create peace of mind. You can step away from work without panic, knowing your systems will keep things running. You can focus on creativity, growth, relationships, or personal goals because the basic routines are taken care of. Success stops being a matter of luck or endless effort. It becomes predictable. Sam's ultimate message is simple. Build systems, and you build freedom. Freedom from stress, freedom from chaos, and freedom to live life on your terms. The more robust your systems, the more clarity, peace, and long-term success you can enjoy. Life is not meant to be survived through constant firefighting. It is meant to be lived fully, with purpose, balance, and joy. And that's the essence of Build the System. Remember, it's not about working harder or trying to do everything yourself. It's about building smart systems that guide your life and work, reduce stress, and create predictable success. Start small, stay consistent, and watch chaos turn into clarity. If you found this audiobook summary valuable, make sure to like, share, and comment to let us know your thoughts. And don't forget to subscribe to BitesizeBook English for more practical, life-changing book summaries that help you grow smarter, faster, and more effectively. Your journey to a more organized, stress-free, and successful life starts with the systems you build today. So take the first step now. And thank you for listening.